This is Embrace Your Inner Boldness, a podcast about remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. I'm Melissa Henning-Frank, coach, guide, and founder of Becoming Bold. I help you strip away the conditioning, reclaim your voice, and rise into the power that's always been yours. Let's get right to it. Hey, thanks for tuning in, and welcome back to Embrace Your Inner Boldness, the space where we don't do surface level. We go deep and we go real. And today, we're going to go somewhere that I think is going to hit a lot of you right where it counts. We're talking about energy leaks. And I know when you hear that, you might think about staying up too late scrolling or binging the latest Netflix or skipping lunch because your calendar was back to back. And all of that is real too. But what I want to talk about today lives underneath all of that. So this is the kind of energy leak or drain that's been going on for years, possibly decades. And you've just learned how to manage it and you work around it and you call it stress. But here's what it actually is: conflict. And conflict at its root is a threat to your identity. I want you to think about the last time you felt genuinely frustrated at work or in a relationship. That deep, exhausting, why does this keep happening kind of frustrated. Now notice something. That feeling almost never shows up once. It recycles. You think you've moved past it, and then something happens. A comment in a meeting or a text that you may have taken wrong, or a decision that was made without you, and suddenly you're right back in it. That same emotion, the same weight, and the same frustrations, but on a different day. That is an energy leak that's not been sealed. And until we understand why it keeps coming back, we're going to keep recycling that frustration. So here's what I've come to understand through my work with clients using the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator and the Thomas-Kilmann Conflict Mode Instrument, and through my own journey of becoming bold. The reason these frustrations recycle probably isn't because the people around you are impossible or irritating. It's not because your workplace is uniquely toxic. It's because somewhere in that friction, you're being asked not to be yourself, and your soul is keeping score. The MBTI, people think that it kind of puts you in a box, but it's not a personality box. It's not a label. What it does, if you take it with the right mindset, is identify your natural preferences, the way your mind is wired to take in information, make decisions, engage with the world. These are the things that you came with into the world. And when the world around you, the team norms, the relationship dynamics, the corporate culture, consistently operates in ways that are out of alignment with those preferences, you feel it. But it's not always consciously, but you feel it. It shows up as irritability, as the meeting that you dread going into, as the relationship that wears you out, as the version of yourself that you became at work that you don't even really like. And that is a real signal. Now, here's where it gets interesting. And this is something I have observed across every single client I've walked through both of those assessments. The Thomas-Kilmann gives us a picture of how a person handles conflict in the external world. Are they competing, avoiding, accommodating, collaborating, or compromising? And when I look at that TKI profile alongside their MBTI preferences, the way they're naturally wired, I have not found one instance where they match. Not one. So let me say that again. The way my clients are navigating conflict in the real world is consistently in opposition to who they actually are. They're people pleasers whose inner world is craving honesty. They are accommodators with a deeply logical, decisive nature that never gets to lead. They're avoiders who inside are bursting with conviction and have so much they want to say. And nobody around them knows this. Sometimes they don't even fully know it. They just know that something feels off. They just know that they go home exhausted. They just know that they keep having the same argument. They just know that they leave that meeting feeling like they are so much smaller than when they walked in. That is the inner conflict. And inner conflict is the most expensive energy leak there is. Think about it this way. We've been sold a lie, and the corporate world has been one of those biggest salespeople. The lie is leave who you are at the door. Professional you and personal you are separate. Work Melissa and home Melissa need to stay in their lanes. But that is not even close to how human beings are built. You cannot compartmentalize your nervous system. You cannot leave your preferences, your values, your need for autonomy or connection or depth at a parking lot and pick them back up at 5 p.m. It doesn't work that way. And the energy it takes to try to do that, to perform a version of yourself all day, to manage your conflict style instead of being honest about your conflict style, that energy is costing you a lot. It costs you your creativity, your peace, and it costs you the fullness of what you are capable of contributing to the world. And here's the soulful piece that I cannot skip over. You were sent here into this world with something, with a nature, a way of moving through the world that is yours. And every time the outside world pressures you to abandon that, every time you manage yourself down to fit in, you're moving away from your purpose. So what do we actually do about it? First, get honest with yourself. Look at where you're navigating conflict in ways that don't feel true to you and ask yourself, whose rules am I playing by here? And is this actually working for me? Second, start seeing the human behind the behavior. This is the work I do with teams, and it changes so much. When you understand that the person who seems cold in meetings has a thinking preference that processes logic before emotion, that is their wiring, not rudeness, the frustration starts to dissolve. When you understand that the colleague who talks through everything out loud is an external processor, and that is genuinely how their mind works, then the irritation turns into information. We're dealing with different people, and most of the conflict is happening because nobody has been giving the context to understand that difference. Third, stop accepting the premise that efficiency requires everybody to be the same. The most productive teams and the most fulfilling relationships are built on visibility. And what I mean by that is people actually being seen for who they are, on knowing that you can show up as you are and still be valued, still be heard, and still belong. That is the strategy, and it's a good one. I want to close with this. The frustrations you keep recycling are not proof that you're too sensitive or too intense or not cut out for leadership, but they are hints. They're like those little breadcrumbs. They're your inner self pointing you back to who you came here to be. The energy leak is calling you, and it wants you to get honest. It's calling you to stop performing a version of yourself that costs you more than it gives. Calling you to understand yourself and the people around you deeply enough that the friction finally has somewhere to go. You're here to be fully yourself at work and at home. There is no off switch for who you are, and that starts with actually knowing who that is. So if this episode spoke to something in you, come find me in the Becoming Bold socials and tell me, where are you feeling that energy leak? What is the frustration you keep recycling? And if you're ready to look at your MBTI preferences and your conflict style and understand what's going on underneath all of that, this is exactly what we do together. The link is in the show notes if you want more information. So until next time, please be kind to your mind. That's it for today's episode of Embrace Your Inner Boldness. If this stirred something in you, don't let it fade. Screenshot this episode, tag me at Becoming Bold LLC, and share it with someone else who's ready to rise. And hey, if you haven't already, take a second to subscribe, rate, and review the show. That's how we spread the boldness and keep this movement growing. Whatever came up for you today, feel the fear and do it anyway. You don't need to wait for perfect timing or permission. You are powerful. You are ready. And remember, the only limit to your boldness is the one you set for yourself. Until next time, stay bold, stay curious, and keep becoming you.